if you've seen the old version of my Synni video, the one where I was bashing her, I don't know if you came across that. That was also pretty much fully edited, and I reused a lot of it for the current draft I had. I ended up uploading. Realistically speaking, I think I could have just changed 10% of my Synni video to make it completely different.
Video is going to be monetized. I'm only going to use some of the money to pay the thumbnail artist and the editor of the video, but the rest of the money will go to Jack's GoFundMe to help them with their situation. If you would like to donate to the GoFundMe yourself, a link to it will be down below in the description. Me to help save my friend's family restaurant. I know it doesn't seem like the time for it, but I promised my friend I would shout it out in every single video until we raise the money for it. I'm bringing all of this up so people don't scream at me in the comments, "You're monetizing something serious, how dare you!" The evidence I gathered are from 2 documents, and I am also linking them in the description down below so you can see them for yourself, but please look with caution. Anyways, let's get on with the video. There are 2 docs that compiled all the evidence of what Synni did. The first one has 111 pages. Sure, it's long, but it's mostly just screenshots. If you don't want to read the full thing, I will also be linking a video that goes over the full doc. But unfortunately, Jack found out Synni was sending very bad messages to a 14-year-old by the name of Enno. Now I want to make this clear in case you missed it. Jack wasn't the main victim in all of this, and they were also not the person who gathered all the evidence. They were just roommates with Synni, and they were the main person to do a video on this topic, which caused this situation to blow up. I wouldn't have learned about this situation for a longer time if they didn't make this video. The victim also made their own doc.
I'm going to seek therapy. I'm stepping away from my social medias and I'm going to try to figure out why I felt it was appropriate to talk to my fans this way.
Why is it that every YouTuber says they will get therapy in their apology? I could go over the proof in the doc, but the drama seems like it's already over. Proof of what she did came out, her roommate talked about it, making the situation blow up, and she admitted to it. By the way, according to Jack, this was not the first time she's done something like this.
Sok has expressed discomfort with Synni multiple times, and Synni hasn't made an effort to change anything. She made graphic rape comics, including Sok's characters, and sent them to people she barely knew, who then leaked them because she didn't fucking know them. Sok expressed discomfort again, and Synni doubled down and told Sok off because she can cope however she wants, I guess. I haven't looked at the screenshots. I've only heard, like, testimony of this, but it's disturbing. She has an obsession with Boy to this very day. Before I found out about all this, Synni actually DM'd me last night and said, "Oh, Boy's yelling at me," because I think she has like an imaginary version of him. I don't know. And I was like, "Why is he yelling at you?" And she's like, "I don't feel comfortable saying." And then I found out from someone else what she did, and she just wasn't gonna tell me.
After looking at the doc, there's even more proof that she has done stuff like this before lots of times. I mean, the signs were there in public for years. Just take a look at her channel. There are tons of videos where she would make suggestive animations of a minor character from My Little Pony. By that I mean Scootaloo isn't a minor character from My Little Pony, but that she's a minor character. She's underage. That's the point I'm trying to make. Now granted, she was a minor when she made these animations, but the thing is, she was a Coomer back then, and she's still a Coomer now. A lot of the titles of her older videos have aged very, very poorly. I could end the video right here, but I think a lot of you want me to be as transparent as possible and go over the 2 really big docs. I've seen a lot of false information get spread around about this situation, and I want you all to understand exactly what's going on, because let's be honest here, most people aren't going to go through 2 massive docs. But basically, she had a Discord that was a 13+ server full of minors. Sure, PG-13 movies and games are a thing, but I'm not a fan of 13+ Discords full of adults, minors, and people talking inappropriately. Synni has made it clear in her server that it's a 13+ Discord and not safe for work topics are not allowed to be discussed in it. This includes messages, images, or whatever else. Everyone else seemed to follow this rule, except for Synni herself. Hell, her YouTube banner is pretty ironic when you consider everything she got away with for so long. Comics involved an FNF character by the name of Boy. He was graphically essaying another character, and then she sent the minor a whole bunch of hardcore corn comics. Now the stuff she did to the 14-year-old when she was 20 is in a whole new ballpark of bad. A 14-year-old is just 1 year older than a cupcake.
Can I go now?
But we aren't quite there yet, so put a pin in that for now. 1 year before this, she did inappropriate stuff with a 15-year-old when she was 18. This is bad, but it's a 3-year age gap. And granted, a lot of people don't agree with Romeo and Juliet laws, especially when it involves a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old, or a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old. And a 15-year-old is only in their 2nd year of high school. However, people are also more forgiving about this stuff when it's over the internet. But she still got some backlash, and this stuff that is, let's be honest here, small potatoes compared to grooming a 14-year-old. Most of the stuff in the doc doesn't really show her doing that much bad stuff at the start. Honestly, I've seen more sus stuff in animes I watched as a kid. I don't think having your OC in a suggestive pose where minors can see it is that big of a deal. She was 17 at the time, and if she was a man, he would have gotten a few side glances at him for doing something like this. Maybe this is just me, but I don't think you need to be telling 15, 14, and 13-year-olds that you're horny. She just wanted the 14-year-old to be comfortable with conversations like this because she wanted to talk about horny stuff. No, I do not know why she couldn't talk to an adult about this kind of stuff. I know some people will try to downplay this because Synni is a 20-year-old girl, but if she was a 20-year-old man talking to a 14-year-old boy or girl like this, you know how you would react. Of course, she tested the boundaries of this 14-year-old more and more. After a few more messages, she started sending some softcore corn to this minor. For those of you who do not know what softcore corn is, she would detail sexual fantasies she had to this 14-year-old. This kept on escalating until Synni, she sent the same not safe for work essaying comic to this minor. I should also note that Synni did not tell her roommate or friends about what she was doing. Just to make this clear, for 6 months, she was sending corn to a 14-year-old when she was 20. She knew it was wrong, but she kept on doing it.
I'm ashamed of myself for doing this and hurting everyone.
I first discovered Synni through her video on Spocter. Other than that, I just saw her video on Lio and Peaches, along with the first few minutes of her video on Deadwing Dork. Do you think she complained about him victim blaming as she was grooming the 14-year-old? Ironically, Synni brought up that she was moving in with Jack at the very end of her Spocter video.
I'm moving out soon. My original plan was to move out in January, but things have changed. I'm going cross-country to pick up my friend so that we can roommate together. They've been an online friend for a long time, and they've been dealing with a really unsafe living situation for a while now, so I want to go get him. My family has been really adamant about me not doing this, though. They already hated the idea of me moving out so soon, but they hate my roommate even more.
When I heard this, I thought nothing of it, but now it looks like Synni is going to have to move back in with her parents. That is, if they will take her back in.
I understand they're worried for my safety, but the way they've gone about being worried has been really stressful. I need to go on this road trip, I need to help my friend, and I need to make my own decisions. I need to get out of this house.
Synni, you will get a normal job and work 9 to 5, thinking back on what you could have had if you just didn't groom that 14-year-old. In a few years, people will forget all about you, and you will go from someone tons of people looked up to just another background character. The funniest part about all of this is you didn't do what you did with that 14-year-old because you wanted to get with them, you just couldn't stop cooming. You coomed until you groomed. I never even heard of a situation like this this happening until now? You didn't send nudes to the minor, nor did you ask for nudes from the minor. You just wanted them to draw porn. I swear only in the ArchCC can something like this happen. I do feel bad for Jack. They had to deal with so much drama growing up on the internet, and when they finally found someone who loved them for them, that person was revealed to be a predator. Grooming doesn't just hurt the victim, or the reputation of the person who did the grooming, but it also hurts the people around them, those who are close to them. Now Synni, when you made your video on Spoctor, who by the way didn't have as much proof against him as you saw what happened to him. You saw the backlash he got and how scared he was. Sure, he had the nudes of a 13-year-old on his drive, but we don't know what he did with them, only that he said he destroyed it after he turned 18. Maybe he forgot about it, then stumbled upon it, or looked at it every day. We don't know for sure. There was a lot, I mean a lot more proof against you for what you did, and what you did was much more recent. Just like EDP, you were given a lot of warnings, and you had a few close calls. I want to make this clear, I'm not saying she's as bad as EDP. You had the choice to walk away, but you wanted the forbidden fruit so badly that you gave up paradise. And you didn't even really want the forbidden fruit. You just didn't care who you were talking to about this stuff because you're a Groomer. Being a big YouTuber with tons of fans is all gone, and you will more than likely never get it back. Sometimes I look back on the story of Adam and Eve and see how they had everything and gave it up to break the one rule they had to follow. They lost out on paradise forever. There's truly only two things that can get you canceled: pee-pee around kids or giving up. You can lie about people over and over, but still have a platform on YouTube if you don't give up. You can expose your folder full of horses and anime children and still have a platform. You can do anything on YouTube as long as you don't give up or groom a minor. I want to make this clear, you'll still get backlash for doing all those things, but if you don't give up, you can still have a chance to make a comeback. You did the one thing people can't forgive, and you lost it all.
I don't know if I can ever come back to my platform, and it's my own fault.
Others will see what you did and make the same mistake, just like you did with Spoctor. It's not up to me to pass judgment on you. It's up to the audience, and looking at how they pass judgment on people like EDP, Cosmodor, and others, I don't think they will forgive you anytime soon, if ever.
I draw a line here. I can't have you doing these things with kids. I can't live with someone who is taking advantage of children. I can't.
I don't want to anymore.
But you still did, and that's the issue. You can't undo this. Like, you have done this with so many people, and it's okay.
No,
it's okay.
I want to be better. I want to do better. I want to do
You
better.
can't come back from this.
I want to do better.
You can't come back. You can. It's okay, but
No.
Synni,
Jack, I cannot lose you.
I don't feel safe here anymore after learning what happened.
Jack,
Dude, I was fucking crying my eyes out earlier when I found out what you did.
Jack, please.
Broke my heart, Synni, that you would do that.
The worst part is, you didn't do this because you're a pedo. You did it because you couldn't stop cooming. They had urges, you just didn't care. To any minors who are watching this video, I want you also to take away a lesson from this video. Be on guard when it comes to people who make animations of cartoons or games you like. Just because they don't like Andrew Tate or Sneeko, it doesn't mean they are a good person. You can watch their videos freely, but be careful when you interact or talk with them. If they say something that makes you uncomfortable, get out of there and tell someone you trust. Synni did not start in the ArchCC, but she joined the ArchCC and now she has fallen. Yeah, partially thanks to PK Russell, a lot of people who made animation memes also started to make ArchCC content. Other people are leaving the ArchCC. Heaton Mitsuru is gone. People like Mushroom Girl and Efrom are getting bashed. The days of the ArchCC are numbered, and one day they won't be able to hurt anyone anymore. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, is that this is a cautionary tale of what not to do on the internet. Anyways, I gotta get back to work on my Lio video now. So to everybody watching this video, I just want to wish you a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good night.
I was going to make a video talking about a recent document that was released about me, but the situation has gotten much more serious as I realized the damage that I've caused.
Another person in the ArchCC has been outed as a bad person. Gee, that's surprisingly new. In other news, there's gonna be a sunrise tomorrow morning. Before I begin, I would like to make some disclaimers regarding this video. Number 1. One of the subjects involved in this video goes by a different name than they used to, due to identifying under a different name and gender. And number 3, some of the stuff you may hear me talk about in this video will be a bit troubling to some, but I am going to keep my wording simple and brief, and show evidence that will be highly censored. If you know the user by the name of Birdie within the animation meme community from years, then you should know they now go by he, it pronouns, and they have changed their name to Jack.
This is the ArchCC. Half the people in it are trans.
When talking about their drama, I will refer to it as Birdie, but for the rest of the video, I will call him Jack as that is to be called. Ago, a drama I actually made reference to in my last video, which I to this day do not know anything about. A link to the GoFundMe will be down below. I know it doesn't seem like the time for it, but I promised my friend I would shout it out in every single video until we raise the money for it. Now you might have heard of the Birdie drama, back when they were bashed by the ArchCC for seemingly no reason. After all of that drama, they became best friends with Synnibear03, who I will just be referring to as Synni for the duration of this video. They moved in together around 10 months ago. There are 2 docs that compiled all the evidence of what Synni did. The first one has 111 pages. Sure, it's long, but it's mostly just screenshots. Now some of you may be asking, how old was Synni when this all happened? Was she 16 when she was talking to the 14-year-old? Or 17? Nope, she was 20, about to turn 21. Like her birthday was right around the corner. Also made their own doc, and it's, oh god, 188 pages long. But it's almost entirely just made up of screenshots, so it's not as long as it may seem at first. Now some of you might say that these screenshots are out of context, or maybe the messages are fake. After all, Discord is one of the easiest websites to use to fake messages. I mean, it's happened to me before, so it might have happened to Synni. But the thing is, those allegations aren't just allegations anymore because Synni admitted to it.
I've been an irresponsible content creator, and I've been acting inappropriately towards my fans. This alone is enough for me to realize I need to make sweeping changes to how I conduct myself and how I interact with my fans. But the most serious thing I've done is I've groomed a minor. I became friends with a 14-year-old after I made a mental note to myself to not become friends with minors again, and I overshared with them. I shared graphic, explicit materials with them when I shouldn't have. I groomed this child, and I knew what I was doing was wrong. And I betrayed everyone who looked up to me. I betrayed my friends. I've done the worst possible thing I could have done, and I'm suffering for my choices.
On the one hand, I am happy she admitted to it so fast, but on the other hand, she groomed a minor! I could go over the proof in the doc, but the drama seems like it's already over. Proof of what she did came out, her roommate talked about it, making the situation blow up, and she admitted to it. It's like that one clip from Rick and Morty.
And now, another quick mystery. I just want to know who could have done something like this. It's a travesty. I did. See this knife and all the blood on it? Here's my fingerprints. Guilty. I sentence you to life in prison.
Just take a look at her channel. There are tons of videos where she would make suggestive animations of a minor character from My Little Pony. By that I mean Scootaloo isn't a minor character from My Little Pony, but that she's a minor character. She's underage. That's the point I'm trying to make. Now granted, the old stuff she did wasn't that bad. Sure, making a 17-year-old uncomfortable when you're 19 isn't good, but it's not pedo stuff in my book. I'm one of those people who defended Call Me Carson, so I can't say she should be kicked off the internet for doing the same. If you would like to know the story between her and the 17-year-old minor, well basically she sent a bunch of inappropriate messages to the minor. The comic included an F&F character by the name of Boy, who was graping Nightmare Sand supposedly for the punishment of molesting children. Lovely. Oh, and by the way, to make everything worse, the OC by the name of Boy was created by a minor.
Ooh, that's bad.
The minor called out Synni for this, and she apologized and made a promise that she would never ever do something like this again.
That's good.
This is bad, but it's a 2-year age gap, and most people only gave her a slap on the wrist for this because of Romeo and Juliet laws.
Exactly what the Romeo and Juliet laws.
We dated for a little while. I was a sophomore and he was a senior. It's fine.
No, it's not fine. We've got a pre-existing juvenile foundational relationship. Statute 2705-3. What?
Granted, a lot of people don't agree with Romeo and Juliet laws, especially when it involves a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old. After all, a 19-year-old can vote, get drafted, and do a bunch of other stuff, but a 17-year-old is still in high school. However, people are also more forgiving about this stuff when it's over the internet. Me hitting on a 17-year-old in real life is different than me hitting on a 17-year-old over the internet. After all, I can see the 17-year-old in real life, but on the internet, I can't see what they look like. On the internet, I hear someone talking to me. In real life, I see a minor in front of me. Granted, I'm a lot older than Synni. If I'm talking to a 17-year-old, yeah, I'm gonna get a lot more crap for it. The example I'm giving only works if I'm 19 or 20. She would also post gore and say inappropriate things where minors as young as 14 were present. Sure, this isn't good, but it's nothing that would get you that much backlash. If it was, then the doc maker would also be at fault. Also, anyone who made a video about this situation, as they were linking the doc showing images of her OC in sexy outfits, would also be at fault. Guys, you can't call something porn, then put it in a video without age restricting it! Sure, the doc does censor out a few things, but it doesn't look like anything that bad was blocked out. Like this image was gore art, not her being topless. Or at least that's what I've been told. Yes, her avatar is in underwear, but they're not fully naked. But then you have things that are a little bit worse, like her saying to a 13-year-old that she's looking for a not-safe-for-work chatbot to talk to because she's horny. Maybe this is just me, but I don't think you need to be telling 15, 14, and 13-year-olds that you're horny. I skimmed over the doc because most of the stuff I saw in it was small potatoes compared to the accusation I heard about her grooming a 14-year-old. Then, when I finally got to the end of the shorter doc, I found out that the bigger and longer doc was the one about the grooming. Now, I want to make this clear. I do not believe Synni is a pedo. She more than likely would have done this with anyone regardless of age. The 14-year-old who made the doc even thinks that this is the case. She was being irresponsible by talking to the 14-year-old this way, but I don't think she was doing it to get with the 14-year-old.
I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want this pattern to repeat itself. I want to be better. Nothing I do will ever make this right, but I want to make sure it never happens again.
No, I do not know why she couldn't talk to an adult about this kind of stuff. She brought up that she talked to this 14-year-old because she was as open about not safe for work stuff as she was. And, yeah, of course she was. She just started puberty. Yes, Synni knew the minor's age. She asked early in the convo. Sure, she could have forgotten this person's age. I talk to a lot of people myself, and it's hard to keep track of stuff like this sometimes. But she acknowledged that this person was young a few more times. Then they started to talk about, not safe for work stuff. For those of you who do not know what softcore corn is, think of it like the sexy jutsu from Naruto. Sure, it's a bit risque, but under the law it would not be considered hardcore corn. This kept on escalating until Synni, she sent the same not safe for work essaying comic to this minor, and requested this minor to draw even more corn of the character of Boy and Nightmare Sans. From the censoring job, it looks like a few parts of this comic would have been legally classified as hardcore corn. That being said, this situation might not be as cut and dry as you once thought. Unlike everyone else who rushed out their video on Synni, I actually reached out to her, and she agreed to do an interview with me. Just like with the Pyrocynical drama, the Spoctor drama from 2016, and the Hopeless Peaches drama, there was something about the Synnibear situation that didn't feel right. I'll give you two options. You can take the blue pill and just believe the mainstream opinion about Synni, or you can take the red pill, and I can show you just how deep this rabbit hole goes. But unfortunately, their friendship didn't last. Last time I heard about two ArtCC people moving in together, it was Kai and Omnia, and yeah, we all know how that turned out. ArtCC people just don't move in with one another, it never turns out great. As for how I first learned about Synnibear03, I first discovered Synni through her video on Spocter. Other than that, I just saw her video on Lio and Peaches, along with the first few minutes of her video on Deadwing Dork. Ironically, Synni brought up that she was moving in with Jack at the very end of her Spocter video.
I'm moving out soon. My original plan was to move out in January, but things have changed. I'm going cross country to pick up my friend so that we can roommate together. They've been an online friend for a long time, and they've been dealing with a really unsafe living situation for a while now, so I want to go get him. My family has been really adamant about me not doing this, though. They already hated the idea of me moving out so soon, but they hate my roommate even more.
When I heard this, I thought nothing of it.
I understand they're worried for my safety, but the way they've gone about being worried has been really stressful. I need to go on this road trip, I need to help my friend, and I need to make my own decisions. I need to get out of this house.
Remember all of this stuff about Synni's parents not being okay with her moving in with Jack, because it will become important later. As they were living with one another, someone made a document accusing Synni of doing very bad things with minors. Jack called Synni out for this, it made a video, the video absolutely blew up, and tons of people also made videos on Synni. I, along with many other people, wouldn't have learned about this situation for a lot longer if Jack didn't make its video.
It's 111 pages long! You're kidding me! You're kidding me!
The most severe allegation in this document was that Synni was grooming a 14-year-old by sending them inappropriate pictures. Unfortunately, the doc is so long that most people didn't look at it in its entirety, and if they did, they didn't look at it very carefully.
188 pages! No! 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 No!
Everybody, including Synni, seems to be in agreement that she's a groomer, but I think a lot of you want me to be as transparent as possible and go over the two really big docs. I've seen a lot of false information get spread around about this situation, and I want you all to understand exactly what's going on, because let's be honest here, most people aren't going to go through two massive docs. The only one defending Synni at all is Kumo, and let's be honest here, he's a guy who everybody hates, so if anything, he probably made the situation even worse for her. The guy is an absolute contrarian, and many people consider him to be a troll. Clearly, he's just doing this to stir up drama, but as I was working on my Synni video, I kept on going back and changing a lot of things about it. And once I finished my video on Synni and looked at all the evidence I had lined up, it just didn't feel like a good video to me. I got that same feeling I had during the Pyro drama, the Hopeless Peaches drama, and the Spocter drama. For those of you who do not know what the Spocter drama is, basically back in 2018, he was accused of inappropriately messaging minors as young as 13 years old. But he got out of them because he did those actions when he was 16 to 17. Synni was 20, about to turn 21, so there's no way she's innocent, right? Well, I told myself the same thing, but then I noticed she took down her apology video, and I decided to reach out to her because I just felt so uneasy. And after I interviewed her, which I will play at the end of this video, I realized that Synni and all of you were lied to. I've gone against the mainstream art commentary community opinion lots of times. I did it in the Peaches drama, the Antunes drama, and the Toby drama. Granted, the last one didn't go so well for me, but the other two went pretty well. I know 100% that I'm going to get a lot of backlash for making this video, but someone with a sizable audience needs to say something. The first big red flag to me was how quickly Synni admitted to grooming. When it comes to groomers, they never do that. Cosmodor didn't do that, EDP didn't do that. In fact, there's not one single groomer that I can think of that has ever done that. The only person that I can think of who admitted to being a groomer before Synni was Spocter, but he was innocent. If you've seen my Vincent Skullman video on my old channel, then you know that I've proven that ArtCC people are cartoonishly spineless. Just Just a little social pressure will make them admit to things that they haven't done. In court, people are allowed to rescind their guilty plea, and that is put into law because humans are, well, human. They can be pressured into saying that they're guilty even when they aren't. Tons of people have admitted to practicing witchcraft because they were pressured into it.
Okay, Jar, that may be true, but did you actually watch Jack's video?
Yes, and it barely had any evidence at all. It is mostly just Jack talking, and that's pretty much it.
Sock has expressed discomfort with Synni multiple times, and Synni hasn't made an effort to change anything. She made graphic rape comics, including Sock's characters, and sent them to people she barely knew, who then leaked them because she didn't fucking know them. Sock expressed discomfort again, and Synni doubled down and told Sock off because she can cope however she wants, I guess. I haven't looked at the screenshots. I've only heard, like, testimony of this, but it's disturbing.
I haven't looked at the screenshots. I've only heard, like, testimony of this, but...
She has an obsession with Boy to this very day. Before I found out about all this, Synni actually DM'd me last night and said, oh, Boy's yelling at me, because I think she has, like, an imaginary version of him? I don't know. And I was like, why is he yelling at you? And she's like, I don't feel comfortable saying. And then I found out from someone else what she did, and she just wasn't gonna tell me.
Some of you may bring up that Jack and Synni were best friends, and it would be in denial about what their friend did. The thing is, though, Jack is very, very autistic. Like, I can't be the only one who thinks it's weird that Synni allegedly groomed a 14-year-old, and Jack somehow makes it about itself and gets $10,000 in donations. Like, what? How does that work? If that's the rule from here on out, Professor Dreadlock has been messaging minors inappropriately. Now give me $10,000, please. Even if you're moving out, you don't need $10,000 unless you live in California or New York or something. In fact, if you live in one of those two states, $10,000 will only cover your rent for a week. But why couldn't Jack just ask for, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000 and then get a job? Well, that's because it doesn't work. Yep, Synni was paying the overwhelming majority of the rent. Jack needed Synni, but Synni did not need Jack. Synni is working a real job, she's making money, and she's paying rent. Jack, for the longest time, was on Social Security until he moved. So let me get this straight, we're paying taxes to it, and now we're giving $10,000 to it. It almost seems like Jack had everything to gain by throwing its friend under the bus.
But Jar, the document had all the proof. I mean, look how many pages it had. All that evidence must prove that Synni's a groomer, right?
Well, actually no. There's not one shred of evidence that Synni groomed anyone. Just testimony, one of which came from herself, ironically. Now I want to make this 100% crystal clear. Synni did 100% speak inappropriately around minors. But know who else did that? Pyro.
Recently, to those who are unaware, I've been accused of grooming a 15-year-old boy when I was 19. That I'm some kind of predator and was aware of his age all along. This is categorically untrue and a complete lie. But a few days ago, a poorly written Google Doc has surfaced claiming that I have lied in my response and I'm 100% guilty. I just want to be clear, I have never lied at any point. This document is disingenuous, manipulative, and it fails to include so much of my original statement. This document makes, like, insane assumptions based on limited and broken evidence. It's not hard to dismantle it, it's just annoying that I have to be the one to do it. These conversations never led to any nudes being exchanged. It was just purely fantasy garbage, something which Ivory himself confirms.
Did he ever ask you for nudes?
No.
No.
Several of our conversations were leaked online by Ivory. Here's one of the more damning ones.
I'd love for my Sona to be licking at his fat, sweaty while rubbing his belly from behind, and then just having him gas all over my Sona's face. That'd be so nice. Or if mine was just underneath him, getting railed underneath his huge belly, and your Sona could be gassing non-stop as he f***s mine like... Huh? Well, to be honest, I'd pick you up, hug you while... Well, to be honest, I'd pick you up, hug you while rubbing you against my huge, sweaty moobs, then kiss your cheeks, telling you how much I loved you, and then kiss you on the lips and let out a hard, long belch into your mouth. Come on.
I mean, yeah, we shared some fat furry art, we had some weird fantasy roleplay, but there was no sexual interest. There were no nudes exchanged, his name, his appearance, it wasn't important to me. He never once disclosed the fact that he was 15 at the time these exchanges commenced. He didn't include his age in his bio until he was 16, but I was not on Twitter between the 28th of December 2016 until the 29th of June 2017, as I was suspended. It would have been a hell of a lot less likely for me to see all but one of these tweets that's been used as evidence in this Google Doc. My Reddit post clearly shows that I was suspended from Twitter at the time that they were made. And that of course leaves the very last one, but like, what are the chances of you catching one specific tweet when you follow hundreds of people? I brought this up in my Reddit post as well, but it's been deliberately left out as some like shit attempt at manipulation.
Wait a second there, Jaw. The Synni situation and the Pyro situation are completely different. I mean, after all, Pyro didn't know Ivory's age. I think you need to see the next clip after this one.
When Ivory linked me his Twitter profile, the age in bio says 16. This is something I acknowledged in my Reddit post, but to be fair, I probably didn't elaborate enough on it. In retrospect, I never should have continued the furry stuff with him once I learnt of his age, even though at the time, I didn't see it as a problem. If it helps for context, because we're being so open here, I'm straight, IRL, like, I have no interest in guys. This is just purely, like, a weird fantasy, and it does not carry over into the real world whatsoever. Of someone who drew, like, fan art of my Fox character back in 2016. I then apparently replied to them, like, jokingly saying not thick enough, and then asking for their age, and they said 15. So when people saw this, they instantly drew parallels to the grooming allegation. I asked them for a thick version, and they drew this, which isn't even really that different from previous things they drew before even getting into contact with me. I didn't commission it. What was drawn wasn't pornographic. They'd drawn very similar stuff before, and there was no roleplay here. It was nothing.
And last I checked, we pretty much all forgave him. Synni is a coomer, a gooner, but not a groomer. Grooming requires intent and a desire to get with someone. Synni did neither. If you want to get with a 14-year-old, you have to be a pedo. Now Synni makes a lot of coomer art, so there must be evidence of her drawing Shota, Lolly, or Cub, right? I mean, the signs were there in public for years. Okay, this is cut and dry, she's guilty! But the fact of the matter is, she made those animations when she was a minor herself. A lot of these inappropriate animations of Scootaloo are over 7 years old. Synni just turned 21, so back then she would have been 14. Maybe this is just me, but I don't believe 14-year-olds who drew inappropriate pictures of characters around their age should be cancelled years later when they are an adult. If that's the case, a lot of you minors watching this video better go scrub your deviant arts.
Scrub, scrub, scrub till the water's brown.
The problem with this is that this is not the art CC, it's the animation meme community. Stuff like this is absolutely normalized in this community. If you're gonna cancel Synni for this, then you better cancel everybody else in the animation meme community. There are plenty of animations that say 13 plus or 16 plus or whatever, and the characters in them are very scantily dressed and do inappropriate things. You can have a problem with this. Hell, you can demand that these videos are age restricted, but you can't just cancel Synni for this and give everybody else a free pass. Plus, a lot of this stuff is no more inappropriate than things I've seen in animes like Fairy Tail and Naruto. Never forget what you were like when you were a kid. You enjoyed Misty when she was in her bikini, you enjoyed Naruto when he did his sexy jutsu, and you enjoyed when Fairy Tail just did a whole bunch of stuff. So just so we're clear here, back when Synni was 13, 14, and 15, she made animations like this, and just about no one had a problem with a minor making animations like this on the internet. Hell, judging by the view counts these videos got, I would go as far as to say that people encouraged her to keep doing stuff like this. So if she grew up with people constantly encouraging her to make animations like the one she's made, then it stands to reason that she would do the same when she grew up. But ja, that's not the only allegation in the doc, there's plenty of other stuff as well. I hear what you're saying, so let's look at that doc even more. She sent a non-con comic to the minor who was 2 years younger than her. it!
Now, none of this stuff is wholesome Christian family fun, but it's not that bad. Tons of people have drawn inappropriate pictures of minors' OCs. It's bad, but it's less bad when Synni did it because she was only 2 years older than the minor. If people don't want you to put their OCs in not safe for work situations, you should respect their wishes. But if you draw your OC as a hot anime girl or a big buff man, you should expect people to draw them in not safe for work situations. Personally, guys, just draw not safe for work of me. Plus, there was a video made defending Synni from these allegations. It got hundreds of thousands of views, and it was received extremely well. Sorry, but you can't just agree with a video that's debunking allegations, then change your mind on it because new allegations came out. What Synni did was bad, but it's not pedophilic, and she did receive backlash for it. Personally, the biggest problem I have is that she said she would never ever do this again, and she did. But the thing is, as far as I'm aware, Synni wasn't hitting on this 17-year-old, she was just cooming with them. Personally speaking, I went on Live Leak a lot as a kid, and I saw some very gory stuff. Also, in the animation meme community, gore and bloodshed is just common. So once again, your hatred shouldn't be placed on Synni, but the entire animation meme community as a whole. Like the fact that people are freaking out going, "Oh, think of the children!" just makes me laugh so hard. If you guys are canceling Synni for this, then why isn't Jack getting any hate? Look at the end of its video on Synni. His avatar along with her avatar are stripping while being on poles, and this video wasn't age restricted. Oh, so many minors were exposed to this. But again, at the very worst, this is her being irresponsible, not grooming. Most of the stuff in the doc doesn't really show her doing that much bad stuff at the start. I don't think having your OC in a suggestive pose where minors can see it is that big of a deal. Also, I'm gonna be real here, the idea that people are saying Synni is a groomer but not a pedo is absolutely silly. This is wildly irresponsible, it's an optics nightmare, and I don't know why she did this, especially when she made the promise that she wouldn't do this again. However, when you consider the fact that neither I nor the 14-year-old believe that Synni is a pedo, then you have to ask yourself, how is this grooming? If you're not trying to get with someone, you're not grooming them. If you want to hate on Synni for this, that's fine, but she's not a pedo. Now I know what some of you are gonna say. Well, we're not saying she groomed a 14-year-old to get with them, she just groomed a 14-year-old to be more comfortable with conversations like this so she could coom. Don't get me wrong, I thought that at first, but it turns out that the minor was the one being inappropriate first, and she kept on pestering Synni to talk about stuff like this. It's also important to note that this minor was a fan of Synni's content that includes Scootaloo being in very suggestive outfits, which Synni also made when she was 14. Yes, Synni should not have engaged with this minor, she was the adult in this situation, and what she did was incredibly irresponsible. It also makes her look really sus. But then again, Pyro, when he was an adult, sent a lot of inflation stuff to a minor. He got backlash for what he did, but he did beat the grooming allegations. But none of the not safe for work topics they went over were nearly half as bad as some people made them out to be. Like, some of this quote-unquote not safe for work stuff includes lyrics from the song, "I like big butts and I cannot lie." I heard that in the Shark Tale movie.
I like square butts and I cannot lie.
Hey boss, big butts.
Aye vey.
But what about the inappropriate pictures, like her sitting on a pile of sand corpses while hugging boy? Is hugging porn now or something? There's also pictures of her in boy and bunny outfits. Woo, so scandalous. None of this stuff is actually hardcore corn, it's just softcore corn. The absolute worst thing Synni sent was this picture of Boy fingering her avatar. However, it should be noted that the doc maker was not the one who censored this out. It was actually Synni herself. When I first saw this, I thought, yeah, Synni's guilty. But when I found out that she censored the worst parts of this comic herself, it made her look far less guilty than I was previously led to believe. I agree that what Synni did was wrong. I agree she was being irresponsible. But I do not think that Synni is a groomer, a pedo,
pedo, a child predator, or anything like that. After going through both of these massive documents in their entirety, I realized that they're just full of nothing. Oh no, Sunny drew a picture of her character in a sexy outfit. Oh no, Sunny said I like big butts, I cannot let you a minor. If the doc maker had to stretch so much, so many times to make such bad points to paint Sunny as a predator, then it stands to reason that it's not a good doc. They clearly didn't know what they were talking about, and they were just grabbing any piece of evidence they could to paint Synni as a groomer. The fact that Jack actually looked at this doc and came to the conclusion that Synni was a groomer is absolutely insane. After that happened, I believe that Jack convinced Synni that she actually groomed someone. Then Synni, feeling bad about it without actually looking at the document, admitted to the allegations. And nothing Synni did was as bad as what Pyro did, so please tell me why he's getting a free pass and she's not. Okay, yes, most of the evidence we've seen from Pyro's video shows that he didn't actually know the age of the 15-year-old. Synni, on the other hand, did, which makes her more guilty than Pyro, but the stuff she sent Enna wasn't as bad as what Pyro sent to Ivory. Like, it's not even close. Also, Pyro did continue talking to the minor when they turned 16. Now, 16 is the legal age of consent in the UK, so it's really up to you to decide which one was worse.
I'm really sorry, but
I'm going to kill myself and it's your fault!
Did Synni really say she was going to kill Jack? Well, yes, but there's some much needed context that you are missing. First of all, it's sad that people are flipping out over this and taking it so seriously. People have said they're going to kill me on Xbox Live lots of times, and I've done the same. Me and my roommate jokingly say we are going to kill one another all the time. I could tell super early on that the screenshots Jack posted to its Twitter were taken out of context instantly. Here's the context for the first screenshot.
Okay, so this is at the time when Jack is recording the video, right? What the hell? I love Jack so much. What happened? Right now, I fucking hate him. I hope he dies. He's framing me as a sex saying I assaulted him by touching his ass and boobs, but I would always ask if it was okay that I did that. And he always said yes. There were times when I poked him in places he didn't like, but I didn't realize it bothered him that much. I thought it was just playful. I don't know.
Oh no, she said she would kill Jack because it was accusing her of S.A.ing because it rescinded its consent, which is something you can't do. Kind of seems weird that Jack rescinded his consent at the absolute perfect time. Sorry, but if you give me or anyone consent, you can't just take it away months later. You can give your consent when something is happening or about to happen, but not months after the fact. I can't believe I have to explain this, but apparently I did. Also, me and my roommate touch one another's asses all the time. It's a form of bonding with guys. If Professor Dreadlock decided to take away his consent months after the fact and painted me as a groomer, I would put him 6 feet under. Also before this, Synni was going over the stuff of her roommate painting her as a groomer. The second screenshot, the one about the gun, was sent after Jack moved out of the house.
Jack made a Twitter thread saying he has more info on me, is making a second video on me. He said he was talking to my friends and coworkers all day and is now staying with my coworkers, I think, but I don't know which ones. He said he's stealing my friends, and he said, live and suffer, Synnibear03. After I saw Jack's Twitter thread, I had to leave work early. I bought a knife, pepper spray, and a crowbar to protect myself. I'm thinking about buying a gun too. I screamed at Izzy over the phone when she was trying to comfort me, but I was convinced someone was in my apartment and they were going to kill me as soon as I entered the place. I parked in a neighborhood 30 minutes away from 30 minutes away from where I live, and Izzy went to my apartment to check all the rooms with Jade. I thought someone was there and would kill her, thinking she was me, and I was so scared to try calling her again. Everything was cleared, though. I came home and checked all my rooms for myself, my pepper spray in hand. I broke down crying once I saw Stupid. Stupid is the name of the cat, and I slept in my room. I do not blame Synni for wanting to buy a gun to defend herself when all the internet is, like, wanting her dead and, like, she's being actively doxxed and people are advocating to kill her.
This was during a time Synni was getting death threats, and also dealing with people calling her boss, showing that they know where she works, therefore they probably know where she lives. She just brought up that she was getting a gun to defend herself, and that's it. Sorry, but how did you guys fall for this? The entire internet wanted someone dead, and they wanted to defend themselves, but somehow this negatively affects a person who got over $10,000? Let me just make this clear. Jack gets 10K, Synni gets death threats. She wants to get a gun to defend herself, and then Jack somehow twisted this into a death threat? What? By the way, I just realized this. Jack thought Synni was a threat to children, so why didn't they call the cops? If I thought Dread was a threat to kids, you can bet your shiny metal ass I would call 911. I guess asking for money was more important than protecting children.
I am a registered sex offender. I stuck my dick into a blender.
Much like Hopeless Peaches, Synni rushed her response to everything, and it was not a good response at all. It did change a few minds, but for the most part, it increased the backlash she got. This response would have worked if she made it without apologizing beforehand, and before Jack made its video. But at this point, the mob is too riled up to listen to her. She needed to treat this like how Pyro treated his video, or how Peaches handled her second video, but she made it as if it was just another video, and that's not a good thing. When you hear the call with me and her, you will see that she did not take my advice on how to go about this. She thought she didn't have to go over the dog because other people didn't go over it. But the thing is, this is the internet, not a court of law. On the internet, it's guilty until proven innocent. Also, monetizing the video and uploading it at 5 AM was not a smart move. That being said, the amount of people commenting that they will not watch the video is dumb. If you are too scared to watch it, then you don't fully believe in what you are saying.
Talk about me and the victims. My thing and the victims.
One thing that really shocked me about this whole drama is the amount of people treating this like it's Synni versus Jack, but they seem to forget about Enno. I think they are left out because they aren't a public figure, so most people just don't care about them. Let's be honest here, Jack made the video about itself, not the minor. The minor got nothing, and Jack got over $10,000. People are saying poor Jack a lot more than poor Enno. Guys, Jack is a person with autism and BPD, and they grew up getting bashed by the entire internet, which more than likely had an effect on its development. Oh, and also they go by it pronouns, which is not a normal thing, even by trans standards. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say that it's best not to take it at its word and give it over $10,000 in 3 days. By the way, I'm going off topic for this, but if anyone is going to try to make the allegation that I'm simping for Synni, I'm not the one giving people $10,000. Giving money to people is closer to simp behavior than not giving them any money at all. I recall people saying poor creepshow art during the Peaches drama. That drama involved a woman with black and orange hair getting thousands of dollars for going after a blonde girl for things that were mostly false, but a few things were true. But the things that were true were blown way out of proportion. And now the same thing is happening again, almost the exact same way. Talk about deja vu. I can't believe I'm having to do the same thing I did a few years ago. One of the people I defended Peaches from was Camilla, someone who was obsessed with Undertale, and Synni is also obsessed with Undertale. Am I in a time loop? After looking over everything in more depth than 99% of people talking about this, I can safely say that this drama was blown up to a level that it had no business getting to. I love how people would try to debunk me on Twitter by sending me the doc they didn't read. I think the irony was lost on them. The commentary community's coverage of this entire drama was absolutely gross. You guys really need to stop spreading what is currently the popular opinion without looking into things deeper. Face the facts, Synni already quote-unquote admitted to it. You weren't making videos on her to spread the word around, you were just doing it to get a quick buck. You weren't concerned about the safety of minors, you were concerned about getting clout. You guys should have learned your lesson from the Peaches drama, the Spoctor drama, the Dream and John Swan drama, the Pyrocynical drama, and more. But you people keep making the same mistake of jumping on a bandwagon too fast over and over again. I do believe Synni did bad things. She needed to be called called out for them, but she did not groom anyone, and she's not a pedo. If you guys seriously believe that Synni sent a minor then you would also be at fault for linking the doc with a quote-unquote porn yourself. If you did not age restrict your video, then so many minors had access to the quote-unquote porn. Some of you may say that what she did was wrong enough for you to never watch her again. If that is how you feel, then that's okay. But don't make up stuff like, she sent nudes to a minor, she's a pedo, or she groomed someone, because none of that is true. I've checked multiple different definitions for grooming. What Synni did doesn't fit any of them. Sure, what she did is what a lot of groomers do when they start grooming, but they tend to escalate things, and she didn't escalate things for 6 months. Or, who knows, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't actually know what grooming is. I know the JARCC is more than likely going to try to use this video against me. They are going to paint me as someone who is okay with degenerate stuff being shown to kids, or that I'm defending a groomer. Both things that aren't true, as I've proven in this video. I said what Synni did wasn't okay, and I show that she isn't a groomer. What Synni did was wrong. What she did was irresponsible. However, whatever punishment you think she deserves, I believe she already got it. Now, if you are one of the people who made a video on Synni, and you disagree with things I'm saying in this video, then let's have a debate. It just seems a little strange to me to make a video on someone without reaching out to them. Oh wait, you guys already did that. I, along with Kumo, were the only two who reached out. I know a lot of people won't watch this video, so if you are going to disagree with me, please put #pineapple-soda in your comment. All one word, by the way. If you don't, then I know you were too scared to have your opinion challenged. I've made videos on predators before, and I've uploaded more than one video bashing cuties. I've won almost every single drama I've been in, even when I was on the losing side. I'm sure people are gonna say I'm reviving the drama, or that I'm doing this for money or something. But even if that is true, it doesn't debunk anything I'm saying. People will more than likely bring up the Toby drama, but last time I checked, every single video covering my Toby video is gone. Every last one of them. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared of the backlash I'll get from uploading this video. Both my roommate and my girlfriend try to talk me out of uploading it. They think I'm right, but they don't want to see me fight for so long and so hard like I did in the Peaches drama. By the way, Peaches is someone that became a bad person after everything I did for them, so I don't know if Synni will end up the same way or not. But I have to do what I think is right. Who knows, maybe I'm the one in the wrong, but I still feel like I have to do this. A lot of people could have done this video better than me, and hopefully they will, now that I've shown them the ropes. But if I am in the right, the next time something like this happens, can you guys please not say, "Ja, you were right about every other drama, but this time you're wrong," before my video even comes out. That being said, I am not confident that this video will go over well once I upload it. The good news is I don't have to worry about people like Prisonmate Luke coming in and making things worse. But I also can't get help from people like Lio, Peaches, and Doodletones. The last two left YouTube and Lio's reputation is in the dirt, but I do believe they would have been more skeptical about this drama than most people. In many ways, this is like all the big dramas that have ever happened in the commentary community all at once. Just like Spoctor, Synni admitted to it. Just like Peaches, she made a bad first response. And just like Pyro, people painted her as a groomer when she wasn't one. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, this drama has now gotten so big that people outside the JARCC are talking about it, and a lot of non-JARCC people don't think that she's a groomer. Who knows, maybe I'm the one in the wrong, but after seeing what happened in the Spoctor, the Peaches, and the Pyro dramas, I just think we should be at least a little bit more skeptical. Please, do not take my word for this. Do your own research and look into these documents a little bit more carefully. And once again, I want to make this clear. Synni is being irresponsible, but in my book, she's not a groomer.